First, I'll just do a roll call to make sure that we can hear everyone. So Stacy Willer,
Here.
Sarah Kinsman,
Here.
Christina Hogarty,
Here.
Nita Mitchell,
Yeah.
and Julie Grace. So we can all hear. So here's the thing that I need to read. This is an open meeting of the Grafton Cultural. What's the right name for our club?
Grafton Cultural Council.
I always write in my notes it's Culture Club, so as a joke. So it's the Grafton Cultural Council. It's being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. And as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find on the town's website, www.grafton-mass.gov, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, for the Grafton Cultural Council, is convening by Zoom as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. This meeting is recorded, which actually I can see that it's saying recording. Is that right? Did someone else hit it or?
Yes.
I never hit it. Is that like an automatic thing? I'm never host, so I don't know.
I don't know whether it or not actually. Do you have a choice to take it off or?
No, I don't know. I do see, oh no, it says pause. And I can pause it, but I didn't.
It's up to us whether we want to have it. I don't see any problem with recording it.
I think they're always recorded for the Zoom meetings. I don't know where they end up going or what and
so we'll all be duly careful in how we phrase things.
Sure. All right, so we can start with our agenda. The first thing, well, the welcome by the chair, which I guess we can count what I was reading before. We all know who we are for this. We've just introduced our names, and the review and approve of the minutes from September 23rd, 2020. Everyone was able to see the minutes?
Yes.
Does anyone want to make a motion to approve them? I read through them as well.
I approve.
You make the motion, someone second?
I second.
Sarah seconds. Who's taking notes for this? Are you doing
I'll take notes.
Okay. All right. So I'll have to, when I.
Sorry, who was seconding? Didn't miss it.
I did.
Sarah did.
Thank you, Sarah.
So I'll do a roll call. Sarah?
Sarah, aye.
Christina?
Christina.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Stacy?
Aye.
Mita?
Aye.
And Julie, aye. So the motion has passed.
So I'll post that.
Sure.
Tomorrow.
Very well. Thank you. For financial report updates.
So can we show the 2020 approvals list?
That's what you just emailed to me?
Yes.
Okay, give me 2 seconds.
Not the latest, not the last one, but the one before that. There were two files. There was the approval 2020.
Give me 2 seconds. Oh, I see. That was the approval 2021.
Which is
I don't have it open just yet, so give me 2 seconds.
Sure.
Let me come back to here and share screen approvals 2020. Okay. So
Great.
here is from 2020.
So I just wanted to draw to your attention, this is our financial status from last year. If you remember, we granted out all the money we had, and these were the grants that we approved for last year. And this is bringing you up to date with the situation. Sorry, again. The situation is that we have paid out Town Grafton $600. Millbury School we paid $900 to. We paid Appletree for Small Stones Festival $600. Clapham Hill $500. Blackstone Valley $300. Hands on History $300. Audio Journal $300. Northbridge Brass $200. And the remainder of the systems have been extended to February 2020. This allows these particular grantees to at any time ask for reimbursement up to February 2022, which is a year out from the original deadline. Now, if just to mention, I mentioned this because it's obviously something that we talked about in the last meeting. We agreed that we would go to the various grantees and ask them what they wanted to do. Did they want to make ask for a part reimbursement based on expenses they could prove they had? Did they want to carry it over into the next year, or did they want to be paid out for a virtual performance? So this is the result. This is what happened at the end. Anyone who has requested an extension to 2022 will not be eligible for a new grant this year, 2021. I've told them that. But what I basically said to them was that we would use fair judgment if the amount of money they get by accepting their grant for this year was more than their grant left over from last year, we would give them the grant this year. Did everyone follow that?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the most obvious example of that is the rec department. They had a grant for last year of $1,500. They did one concert and they were paid $600. And they now have theoretically $900 left. But actually, we come later on in the meeting, you'll see that they've applied for a grant for this year as well, for $1,500. So if we agree to give them $1,500 this year, we will not give them, we will not have
Right, that 900 will be a wash.
that 900
Right, or not a wash, but it will be unpaid.
So there are a couple of places of people on this list who have applied for a new grant in 2021, even though we have theoretically given an extension. So this is, at the moment, I think it's just the Town of Grafton Rec Department and the hip hop class for seniors, which is, I think, somewhere here. Dance class for seniors. Music, dance, ed.
Yep, it's at the middle of the page there.
In the middle.
Yep.
Yeah.
See what it
Yeah.
says music,
So-
okay.
Yes.
Right. So as far as I'm concerned, because of that, at the moment, I'm going to suggest we put the 280 back into this year's budget and give them a grant for this year. Now, when we come to talk about them this year, we decide not to give them the grant, then we'll keep that money against their names. But I think that at the end of the day, what we need to make sure is any money we know we're not going to spend on this list gets spent this year, in addition to the grant that we have for this year.
Okay.
So that's all I wanted to say. Does anyone have any questions about the outcomes of these discussions?
No.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome. Shall we look at the 2021 that you, oh no, you want me to call up the panel book first?
The grant, but financially, let me let you know that the grant for this year was $8,300.
Wow.
Keeping the money that we would normally keep in reserve for expenses, we're probably going to put all that money in.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we're theoretically going to add $900 from the Town of Grafton Rec and the hip hop class for 280. So that gives us the total we can spend this year.
Okay.
So it's over 9,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Any money we don't spend, we either don't grant or we decide not to grant, and it's our choice which we do, would go back to the Massachusetts Cultural Council.
Okay.
Examples where we might consider not paying out might include those organizations who applied to us for grants who already got a large grant from Massachusetts Cultural Council. So it depends on how much, on what we feel is appropriate.
Okay.
So we can discuss that later on when we talk about 2021. But that was it for finance, if that's all right with everyone.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
What shall I share next? Do you
Could
want me to
you-
call up the panel book?
Could we first, before we do that, could we share the list of the local regulations, the local rules that I also sent to you? Just wanted to review that with people because that gives indications about what we're allowed to do before we discuss this panel.
Hold on.
There were 2 attachments.
I know. I need to local rules.
No, no,
My
I'm not-
my
we're not-
apologies.
We're not in that much of a hurry, Julie. I mean, no, I know we want to get away from this meeting before 3 hours, but you know.
No, I you know, it's new to me. Here we go. All right. So here are the rules.
Right, so the rules are a combination between Massachusetts Cultural Council rules and the local rules, which are governed by Grafton. Okay. So most of them are in common, but there are 1 or 2 extra things that we have added in at the end. And before we look at the grants applications, we probably should go through what our funding priorities are. So our funding priorities are projects from Grafton artists, people who live in Grafton, or organizations who organize artistic projects in Grafton, collaborative projects, new applicants or new projects, projects serving youth and families, and art forms of humanities are underrepresented, either within our community or we've not given the money to them in the past, if you see what I mean. And so we're supposed to evaluate them in terms of artistic and creative merit, project design, dedication and track record of individuals and organizations. The physical accessibility is extremely important. That's an absolute requirement by Massachusetts Cultural Council. So there must be, for example, if you have it outside, you couldn't have it at the top of the steps, a pavilion at the top of a load of steps, unless there was a ramp for wheelchairs. So things like that, which may seem trivial, but you remember Apple Tree Arts used to suffer from the fact that they couldn't get people upstairs, and they built, you know, elevators, so or lifts rather. So project proposals from schools must not look at, if anything, that could be covered by the municipal budget, but they can use outside professionals. Only 1 application per individual, organization, or school will be considered. Grafton applicants are given preference. Council will carefully scrutinize repeat requests, which is most of what we get actually. Such proposals must show other sources of support to show they could continue even if we didn't fund them. And then it goes on to say about, you know, the fact we can't always give people the full grant. The local guidelines, though, I think I want to draw your attention to is individual applicants are required to be Grafton residents for at least 1 year. Organizations must be non-profit or have a non-profit purpose. In other words, if someone's doing a performance just to get a salary, you know, that's not really a non-profit purpose. If they are doing it to promote physical activity within kindergarten students, then they have a non-profit purpose. So organizations must be organized and operating in Massachusetts for at least 1 year. Finally, date and venue must be arranged prior to grant submission. So in other words, all the applications we have all been signed off by the applicants saying, we have checked the Grafton Cultural Council's Town of Grafton's requirements, local rules, and we agree that we meet them, but most of them do not. So then we consider about whether, you know, how could it be made to be true? For example, if they haven't got a venue in Grafton, can they show evidence they're going to be able to offer it to other students, the students from Grafton, by, you know, showing the publicity and so on. Okay, so that's just I wanted to remind people about what the rules are, because obviously it's important when we're considering the individual applications. Thank you very much, Chair. That's fine.
All right, shall I pull up the panel book?
Sounds good.
So right now, this is the last page of it, but I'm sorry that I can't really, I have, you know, too much stuff up here, but this is as big as I can really get it on my little screen. But
Let's show the last page first, Julie, so
yeah,
you can reply,
we
because
could do
I think
that.
that's probably more informative than the first one.
Yeah. Yep. So here's the last page.
So the first person here is called Rob the Marquis. He's not a resident of Grafton. And he's a grasshopper man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So but he's not a resident of Grafton. And so I have, you know, so anyone on here who's not got a residency in Grafton, we have to consider whether their organisation meets the requirements of the local rules.
Yeah, that was a little questionable. And also there was no time frame. Is that correct?
Yeah, but we don't need
Or
to.
oh no, it was just going to be in the fall because this was a fall.
This is before
thing.
outdoor
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But
As the pumpkin song. Yeah.
They didn't have a specific venue. It just said outdoor park or venue or virtual. So it wasn't really specific.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of them are going to be very non-specific
Yeah.
because we just don't know
It's
what.
just a different year. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be tedious, but can we now go back and go through them one by one and
Yeah.
just look at every page together? Because
Yeah.
I got some questions, but I thought maybe some of you may have answers I haven't seen.
Yeah. All right. So here's,
So this is Rob the Marquis. He's a grasshopper man.
yeah. Was
Obviously
there
a lot
any,
of fun for kids. So he's
I
basically
forget where he
submitted
was
this
from.
on behalf for a project called Elijah T. Grasshopper and Friends. Has
Right.
anyone tried to go to the website and see if they can find where there's an organization called Elijah J. Grasshopper and Friends? Because I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't find an organization by that name.
I didn't try to. I did watch the video. I'm sorry. But I didn't go looking on a web page for
He
that.
does have a web page.
Oh, he does. It's right here. I might be able to.
webpage.
Yep, I found it. I see it.
It's right
Did,
here.
did anyone see their? I mean, obviously he's got 16 Massachusetts County Council grants, so he must have done something right. Did anyone see whether he's an organization though? I couldn't work it out.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And is there a hamburger menu up here? No,
So normally at the bottom of a website, there would be, you know,
there's,
a lot more information.
this is it. This is the about. Then there's the videos and schedule. Oh, here's the contact. Let's see what that says. That's it. Yeah, when I look at, let me see the about.
There was nothing
again.
under about there.
This is the about. It's just their videos.
Children enrichment performers, you know,
About. Sorry if I'm going fast. I just, and there's a book. Yep.
So I said I couldn't find out whether he had a non-profit organization.
Right.
It
And as he's
doesn't
not,
specifically say.
and as he's not a member of a resident of Grafton, I believe, I'm looking to see whether he meets the local rules.
Yeah. Did it say where he's from?
Millis.
Oh, yeah, he's from Millis.
And that's where he seems to have done a lot of his gigs.
Yeah.
So the fall project is a quite sort of vague. It's fall 2021, but that's understandable. No one knows. But
Right.
the fall festival he's still talking about, so it would be in the fall. Outdoor park venue or virtual. Nowadays, you're going to have these alternatives, but there's no real mention to my mind that it's got any kind of direct sponsorship from a Grafton institution,
Mhm.
or indeed he's approached a Grafton park, say Grafton, to ask if he can have the get the park, for example. Does anyone else see that? I mean, has anyone seen anything different than that?
No, and I'm looking at the website too, and I'm not really finding much more information than what's here.
So
Right.
my question on him is really, is he eligible for the grant? The way of getting him eligible would be for him to be able to show that he's a non-profit organization that's been around for a year, according to local rules. According to the other local rules, though, he would need to have some kind of evidence he's going to actually perform in or near Grafton. Now, obviously, he's going to go virtual.
Right.
Then the question is, how is he going to get people from Grafton to participate?
Right.
So, for example, if they got one of the elementary schools in Grafton to say, we would like him to do this performance for our kids at the beginning of the fall 2021, then that would be, that would make him eligible.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Agreed.
So I sort of have a sort of question mark on those things.
Yeah. Yeah. I have an asterisk next to his name.
So my suggestion at the end of the day, we could divide up between ourselves people to ask some of these questions, if the rest of you don't mind, to actually call up and find out these things from these individual people before we send out the letters, any letters of non-approval, to actually check that whether we can find any way of sliding it through the criteria.
I wouldn't mind taking that on. I did that last year, so I wouldn't mind making phone calls and doing follow-up with folks.
That would be great, Sarah. Thank you so much. So
Sure.
that would be something I think that we should do. If everyone agrees with that, I would like to give him some money if I can. Obviously, he is a successful performer, but we do have to follow the local rules. And if we can squeeze it in, we will. But
Okay. Yep, I'll take that on.
thank you.
Thank you. And no, yeah, that's. Now, what's the rules of, we can't pay salaries of, like, if a teacher at an elementary school
But we
is
can pay the
helping?
salaries of an individual
Oh,
performer,
yes,
as
okay,
long as they meet the other criteria.
okay. Oh, then we're still on
Yeah, we got not
Grasshopper. Okay,
Okay. Next
Blackstone
one.
Sorry.
Valley Art, go ahead.
Sorry, one question. What is our target date to get a reply? Because I know we were scheduling tentatively to meet again in February. So do we want to have that within like a week or two?
I think
What
we need
is-
to do it within a week because we have to make an appeal to to Grafton, and we need to get a town of Grafton to make an approval. We may have to go to
Okay.
them and say they don't follow the criteria. Is it all right if we
Okay,
go ahead and give them a grant? So
I'll
it's
start.
a bit tight, and this is one reason why I'm very glad we can meet tonight.
Okay, I'll start communications tomorrow then.
We could make the meeting in February later. It's just because the annual report isn't due till the beginning of March.
Okay.
So Blackstone Valley Art Association applied last year for the grant to do the art drawing open air class in the new park. And instead they did virtual art lessons online, just finishing it up now at the moment. Actually, they've just finished it. So we've actually paid out their grant for last year. So they are obviously are keen to expand that this year in Grafton.
Does anyone know anyone who did any of those? Or I hadn't really heard about when it happened or anything. I didn't know.
Well, they've only just completed it. I did get quite a lot of information online, and I meant to pass it on to you. I think I forgot. So I'd be happy to send out the videos. But generally speaking, I believe that they did actually engage quite a number of people from Grafton.
Oh, that's great.
And it's like a virtual art class where they were given, a picture, said, draw this picture together. So it's one of those sort of things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But they said they only just finished up with the last taping, so because of COVID's pushed them out so far.
Right.
So,
Excuse
so
me.
I'd be happy to, from what I've seen of them, and particularly as we've agreed to pay them for the work they've done so far, I'd be happy to support them in terms of what I've seen about them doing things.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would agree to that too. And they're asking for a small amount. They're not
I
asking
kn-
for that much.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I think too.
we want
You're
to
not-
try and spend the money if we can.
Yeah, I have no objections to
Okay, that's
to
great.
their application.
So Alphabet Master Singers, Valley Singers we have supported them for years. They usually provide a certain number of free tickets to
Right.
residents.
Mhm.
This particular case, they are putting us down as virtual, which is kind of funny because they've always been a bit virtual because it's only going to be happening if we actually went there. They are recipients of some help from Massachusetts Cultural Council. This is basically, a fairly significant organisation within our local wider community. So normally speaking, we would actually give them a grant based on the tickets they provide. My inclination is to recommend that we should consider funding them this year.
And they're only requesting $250.
Yeah, I support that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that people we've been supporting for a number of years have been very modest they have not, bumped it up to, generally speaking, haven't bumped it up to $2,000 because, they're going, well, they're probably going to pay us anyway. So I think anyone who asks for a amount, it's in keeping with what they've asked for in the past, is probably behaving reasonably.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep. I agree. Oh, this Playful Engineers looked so fun.
It did. And now, last time, you may remember that they sent us, they asked us for a grant last year. And I told them that we regretfully had to turn them down because they didn't have a millennium date. But what they should do is approach a school and find a school who could actually sponsor them.
Yeah.
And that's
what they did.
That's what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, because is it with Millbury Street?
Millbury Street School.
Yeah, I know, it looks so fun. So yeah, I had no issues with this one either.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna put it under the umbrella of Millbury rather than under his individual thing, but definitely I think Millbury are sponsoring. They got a letter somewhere in there, they got a note from.
They did, and
teacher.
there was no direct application from Millbury Street School either though, right?
No, there wasn't, so there's no contest between that. Normally speaking, though, I would recommend the school did it themselves, because that way we can't refuse them really.
Right.
Right.
As opposed to if it's an individual applying from outside, we could probably say, well, but they definitely got her buy-in for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to go ahead with this one.
Yeah, it looked fun.
I agree.
I'm like, oh, I wish I could build that. No.
Yeah. Well, it's great because it's chain reactions. It's working with things, household materials. It's focusing STEM, which I think is, near and dear to my heart. So I agree. And I like that they did follow up with what we asked them to do last year. So
Yeah,
I support that one.
Great, great.
yeah.
So Clapham Hill is a symphony orchestra. So we have normally supported, we have supported for many years. Initially, it was a fairly small grant we gave them because they don't have any concerts local to us. In more recent years, they had a collaboration with Apple Tree Arts, which meant they were performing 2 concerts a year in their hall. And this was, and we have been giving them money for that. And we gave them a grant for it last year. We paid out our grant for them last year based on the fact they'd done 1 concert. We paid them for 2 because they did have all the rehearsal time. It happened just as we were shutting down in March, 2nd concert. This year, really, there's a sentence. Sorry,
Go ahead.
There's a sentence there about where are we? While this concert may not take place in Grafton,
Where? Here it is, right here. While this concert may not take place in Grafton, this is the first step in cultivating all of our other series. Therefore, supporting this program will help us sustain our chamber series there.
So what they're saying is you don't, use us or lose us, or support us or lose us, whatever the other. They're saying, yes, we know we're not going to have a concert in Grafton this year. Yes, we know in the past you have said that is the way to get better funding, but if you don't support us, we may go under.
Yeah. And they will have a free virtual rebroadcast, but well,
with all these things, the real issue is how are they going to make sure that people from Grafton know it's happening and therefore have the opportunity to do it. But if you look at the organisations who are planning, they do have Apple Tree Arts on there. So I guess they're probably saying that Apple Tree Arts would actually act as sponsors to some extent in Grafton and publicise it to their pupils.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, anyone?
I think this is another one that I might need a little bit of follow-up. So if I can make a call to them as well.
Okay.
But I agree, like if it's something that we've supported for years, and even though they're not in Grafton, it does serve Grafton and they're in danger of going under, just, that's obviously happened with a lot of places this year or last year because of everything going on in the world. I think I would give them a phone call, but I wouldn't dismiss this one.
Well, I don't think we need to dismiss one. The only question I would have in a normal year is, should we give them the whole grant?
Right.
Because in the past, where it's been outside Grafton and not directly affiliated with Grafton, we've gone, well, we'll give you a couple of hundred, because we want to support culture,
Right.
full stop. They do Apple Tree Arts as being on their list of additional sponsors, not sponsors, but, sort of somewhere on there.
Where was that?
Somewhere in there.
Was it before this?
hang
No,
on. So I think it might be above that, actually.
it is.
Business partners. No, I missed it. Sorry.
I'm sorry, when it jumps like this.
Yeah, I know it jumps. You can't.
Well, let me just start back up at the front, just so that at the top, and then we'll.
Probably can't search on Apple Tree and see if you can find it.
Right.
No. No.
So if you go down a bit, I think it's just below here.
Yeah.
So arts organisation, Apple Tree Arts in Grafton.
Yep. Now, so they're asking for 750 this year.
Mm-hmm.
How much was it how much did they request and how much did we grant them the last couple of years? Hold on, did someone, oh no. Kevin asked me, how do I connect video?
Oh dear.
Shoot. Oh, I didn't see him. Oh, bummer. All right. That was there's too much going on the screen. I didn't even notice that he was there.
Well, let's give him a chance to join us then.
That was at 6:10.
Oh, dear.
Let's see if I can. Could someone email him? Or I can try to find.
Who's good at multitasking? Can someone email him?
I'm not going to be able to find it in my phone. I've got 4,000 emails in my inbox.
I did resend him the I forwarded him the email that the town sent me for the
Yeah.
link to see if he could get back in, but I haven't heard from him since.
Ah,
And that
there
was
he is. I'm still here.
Oh, good.
But how do I let him join? Sorry.
Oh, okay, I see him.
I can see him.
Kevin, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Can you see me?
Do you have
No,
your
not
camera
yet.
on? I know it's a stupid question, but do you have your camera on?
I think so. I'm kind of new to Zoom. I'm not exactly great on how it works. Can you guys hear
Okay.
me?
And
We
we can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
So there's at the bottom of your screen, you should see a mute, start or stop video, and then participants, Q&A, share screen and record. Do you see those?
Well, I'm pressing the more button and I see minimize webinar and disconnect audio. Those are the only options I'm seeing.
Do you see us and do you see a shared screen?
Yep, I see you.
Okay, so you don't see a camera with a red slash through it?
Let's see.
Should be the bottom left of your screen.
Bottom left.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I
there's a
see is
mute.
all I see is Town of Grafton screen. I see
Mhm.
record on the top right there. Yeah, I'm kind of new to Zoom. I'm not exactly a genius on how it works.
Do you have a slide on your camera? Are you on a laptop?
No, I'm on my phone. I'm on my
Oh,
iPhone.
okay.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I have a slide on my laptop that shows when my camera's on. And if I forget to do it, then you can't see me.
Yeah, I had the same. Mhm.
Yeah,
That's okay.
am I unable to be seen because I'm on an iPhone? Is that it?
No, you can do it from your phone.
Yeah, I've done it from my phone. I can't remember how.
When I was on my phone, what I had to do was, you have to kind of touch, like if you're holding your phone sideways, do you have to kind of touch it on the bottom and then the camera with the slash through it will become visible? I can't, it's been a while since I've done Zoom on my phone.
Let's see. All I see at the bottom are more questions and answers, raise hand, and mute.
And
That's
when
all I
you
see at
hit,
the bottom.
when you hit more, there is no camera.
There's just disconnect audio and minimize webinar.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how to do it. I don't recall.
That's
I've been-
okay. At least you guys can hear my voice.
Yeah,
can
so
hear you,
Kevin,
Emily.
I'm very sorry. This is Julie Grace speaking. I'm very sorry that I didn't notice. I'm hosting this and I'm new to hosting and there's a lot of stuff visually going on my screen and I didn't see that you were waiting.
No, it's
So
okay.
I
Don't worry about it.
apologize.
It happens.
I can be in charge of the making sure the Q&As are answered if you want.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
So you don't
Those
have to
two
worry about
questions are
it. I
both
can
from
take that.
Kevin.
I'll take that on. That's not a problem.
Oh,
I was
dear.
worried earlier. I was worried I was going to miss the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
So,
Don't worry about it.
so we've been going through the panel book with the applicants.
So Kevin won't necessarily have seen the panel book.
Right.
So maybe we want to start just briefly go over the what we've done so far on the panel book.
Sure. Should I start back at the beginning again and we'll scroll through, or
Maybe Kevin, maybe if we go along and sort of talk
We'll
about
see.
it, you'll be able to pick up what we're discussing when we look at these individual applications. I think otherwise it's going to take too long to go back
Yeah.
through all the rules and
Yes.
yeah.
So right now we're talking about an application from, this one is
Clapham Hill.
Claflin Hill Symphony.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so I was asking, how much did they request in funds
They requested 500 and we paid them 500.
last year? And then the
Yeah.
year before that?
Before that, I need to look that up.
I'm just curious if it was always about that, because it's at 750 this year. I just didn't
Mhm.
know.
It's we haven't given them that much for a while because we sort of felt they were pushing the limits a bit when we were talking about you know,
Right.
not performing actually in Grafton. When they
Sure.
started performing in Grafton, things changed slightly. And I'm just looking at 2017, something like that. So in
Okay.
2017, we gave them $100, for example.
Okay.
That was when they were actually doing something on the summer concert series, though, and we sort of felt that was partly because they already being paid by rec. We already paying the rec
Oh,
department on that one,
okay.
right? So that's one reason why that was down to 100.
Hmm.
We paid them $744 in 2016 for the same concert.
Okay.
That
Eh.
happened to be 744 because that's what we had left over, the 44 bit. But yeah, that's our history with them. I wonder if you want to get any more information, or is that give you an idea?
No, that was it. I just wanted a general idea. I couldn't remember if there were someone who was always requesting $1,500 and we were only paying them 700 or 500 or whatever. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah, no, sure. So in 2018, just completed, we paid them 703.
Hmm. Right. So this year they're
So the answer
requesting.
is yes. That's quite a reason. That's quite a common figure for them to be in the 700s.
Okay. Where would they even be performing? I can't even imagine.
On their application, it says the town hall in Milford,
Yeah, I know.
but I didn't think
just,
that they could do indoor just yet.
I
well,
wouldn't think
I,
they'd be able to do that at May either. It's when they get their set talking about it.
yeah,
I don't think much chance of it happening in May.
Mm.
yeah, it just didn't. Yeah. I felt like people would be watching the recording of it. I don't know. I don't even know how the performers could be together, but
Yeah, well, that's right.
that's why I
think they-
thought if it would be a virtual thing, where they do that melding where they bring everything
It's hard on an
together.
orchestra, though. I mean, almost all the orchestras I've seen so far who are basically quarantining together for long enough to actually do the performance together.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be doing that somehow.
No.
I think we could always approve it, but based on the performance going ahead or an equivalency where they can show that they have taken every step they can to publicize it.
Yep. I'd support that.
Anyone have any other questions about Coffin Hill?
So was that for the 750?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Just fine.
yeah.
All right. So the next one is Apple Tree Arts. And, oh, this is for the children's program, right?
Right. So I don't believe, Chair, that we need to recuse ourselves because we are no longer current members of activities at Apple Tree Arts.
Very good. Sadly, that's true. So this one was for, $1,400.
No, it was for a
Oh, I'm
$1,000.
sorry, I have it wrong.
$1,000.
$1,000.
Mhm.
Now that they are suggesting early childhood development music, and
Yeah.
this is something they've been well known for over the years.
Yeah.
And they're suggesting outdoor venues.
Yep. I think it'd be a great program.
I
Mhm.
think the kids this age are losing a lot, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have a chance to have some
And it would be free for all the kids,
movement and
Mhm.
music.
right?
So
Is
I
that
don't-
true?
Sorry.
I think it would be free to the participants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I think it might be one of those ones where I don't know whether they're getting the rest of the money on. Can we move down to see whether they have any other sponsors? Just go back down.
They were gonna apply to the,
Millbury.
yeah, not as
Other-
much, but some, yeah. Where do you want me to go now?
Because they probably, it's far more likely to get picked children from Grafton than anywhere else, but
Yep. Yep,
Sounds good.
yeah, it sounds good to
Yeah.
me too.
well, it's following our remit for supporting the younger members of the community.
Mhm.
And they haven't got much else. Most of the other grants we're talking about here are for older kids,
Yeah.
generally speaking.
No,
Yeah.
I like this one very much.
I do too.
Okay, so we're all right with that one?
Yes.
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 Good, agree with that.
And this one,
So this is another issue regarding
oh, this is the two
address and
pianos?
organizations. Did anyone have a look to see if they could find if it was a non-profit organization?
I did not.
I did not.
I tried to. I didn't get very far though. I mean, I couldn't find them as a. I mean, I could find information about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think of,
I don't know where the other person comes from. This is Whipple is not a resident of Grafton, but the other lady I think is
Marilyn Morales.
yeah.
Mm,
was it? I thought they weren't a couple.
I don't,
No, I've
They're
been
a
reading so
duo,
many
sorry.
different things.
I didn't mean a couple. I mean they're a duo.
Yes, no. I thought they were both from the same place. It doesn't matter.
I can't remember.
It's okay. All right, so they were requesting $750.
Mhm.
And I forget how were they
So
gonna be?
they say they're going to do it through Grafton TV.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
going to do a virtual presentation on Grafton TV. So my question is one of the ones I got down on the list as need to check, Sarah.
Okay.
Would you mind checking that they actually have already made that arrangement with Grafton TV? Because
Yes.
if it's depending upon streaming it on the local channel, is that something that Grafton TV know about? Have they agreed to it?
Okay.
This is a new performance, so it's a new request for grants.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I can follow up because they don't have a specific date either. It says between March and December, so I just want to make sure. But yeah, I can follow up with that.
Yeah. I mean, so if Grafton TV are prepared to, have already, made the arrangements with them for screening it, I don't have a big issue with it because it's something slightly different. But I think the grant should be dependent upon them actually screening it through Grafton TV.
Yep.
And
I
showing
agree.
us that they can publicize it adequately too. And
Yes.
indeed, make sure they can give due deference to the Massachusetts Cultural Council throughout all these grants. They've got to be able to publicize it in a way that can
right.
thank the Massachusetts Cultural Council for their work, their money as well.
Okay.
they look like they are married and they live in Miami, Florida.
Yeah. And
Okay,
it's
yeah.
somewhere completely off the map.
Yep. I'll follow up.
Great. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Mhm.
All right. Next.
So the next one is chainsaws.
Oh, yeah.
That sounded interesting.
So this was something that I'm like, this needs to come through a school. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it very much like the science one for Millbury
But
Street.
different from the science one in that he
Good.
hasn't got a school lined up. He says this would be best for middle school, but
Yeah.
high schools might be interested. But there's no evidence to me, unless someone spotted
Right.
something different, that he actually has anyone lined up. to do it.
Right. So
So he's in the position of the sort of people who in the past had said, we've got this really brilliant idea. We want to perform it in your town. Can you organize the venue and the sponsor and everything else for us, and we'll come and do it.
Right. Chainsaws, cheeseburgers, and rock and roll.
At
Right.
the moment, though, I would be willing to consider it, I think, if he could actually put together a school. Because it sounds like it might be quite fun, said she dubiously.
Right.
So, you know, if he could show that he could get a school to sponsor him quickly, we could consider it. But I don't think we can do it otherwise, because he doesn't have the, he isn't a Grafton resident, and he doesn't
Right.
have anything lined up in date or venue, and he doesn't have a Grafton sponsor.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
a one-man show, it says, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, if he had contacted the middle school directly. And
I mean,
you know.
he needs to have an opportunity for publicity as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of feel he's one of the ones where if he can come up with a really quick liaison with a school that wants to have him, then I think that would be something we could approve, Sarah. Otherwise, you know.
Okay, so I'll put this down to have as a follow-up as well.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Do we
Thank you so
want,
much.
is there a deadline we want to give him? I know you said come up with it quickly, but is there a date that we want to give him?
End of this next week, I think.
End of the next week, okay.
Yeah, because I really, other than that, it's going to be, I'm sorry, but apply next year when you have a school lined up.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Great.
Right, here he is. Yeah, see, this is just typical school assemblies. Like, that's where he needs to be.
Yeah,
All right. Okay, so this is Sean Paget.
Who very conveniently lives in Grafton.
Well, he's applying for the, what is this called? I always called it the wrong thing, the tiny stones or whatever.
Small
Stones.
The reason I say
Which is
that
Apple Tree Arts.
is because in the past we've commented on the fact that he has Apple Tree Arts and the Library as his sponsors, co-sponsors, and
Yeah.
we can't give more than one grant per. So this is one of the places where I suggested last year that they thought about getting, but I suggested to Apple Tree Arts actually that they try to drop too close a relationship, because otherwise they would have things like the early childhood music.
mhm.
Right.
You see where it can take place. It can take place in the Apple Tree facility.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, I don't want to be. I mean, basically, this used to be held in the Grafton Senior Centre. You know,
Right.
and we don't want to say no just because of that. So I think they've done a good job in having someone, a Grafton resident, apply. So
Right.
I think it works for me.
He's now Grafton Arts Inc. With
I've been
Ken,
going for free. This is the
Ken Crater.
third year now. Ken Crater, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see. It's been it's the third year now. So there's a background for those who don't know about it. We used to have an arts festival in Grafton every year. In fact, Apple Tree Arts used to sing at it, and it was a big thing. You know, had lots of artists and things. That basically fell. It sort of really fell apart about 5 years ago. Mainly, I think, because the main people who were running it got to fold. So what happened was they rejuvenated it about 3 years ago as a Small Stones Festival and incorporated into the Camera Club as well, things like that, and broadened it slightly.
It's a nice festival.
It is. It's got some beautiful, some wonderful art pieces. Really.
Yeah, they do.
If you go further down, I think there's a couple of screenshots from the last. You can see, and these are actual paintings.
That's, yeah. Yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah, the teapot was the year before, but
And
not
this
this year.
photograph.
But yeah, and that one I love that one.
Yeah.
modern one.
Yep. I don't have objections to.
So I think given that it's not the library or Appletree directly involved, it's an individual, slightly different organisation, I think we're okay in terms of more than one project. So I mean, and I said it is a great opportunity for people to display their talents.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Grafton Library.
Star Wars.
Oh,
This one sounds cool.
yeah, yeah.
So I love Star Wars. I'm a fan of it. I had done a Star Wars symposium at the Hudson Library years ago when my child was small. I mean, they're 13 now, but they were super small, and it was just great. So I'm not sure if it's the same kind of setup, but I thought it was really neat. It was really engaging. So I don't want to sound biased towards this just because I like Star Wars, but I just thought that was kind of a neat opportunity because we haven't seen something like this before.
Well, you can either dress up as Star Wars people, or you can actually do cookies, which is equally relevant. The only question I would ask is it's quite a lot of money. It's $1,225.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And if you look at the number of people they say it will serve, it was 150. And my question is that actually value to Grafton per head? Is that 150 for all three or 150 for one?
Oh. Yeah, well, I mean, with Zoom, there's really not a limit now.
Right.
Well, they have to provide the supplies. They're going to have to do the supply kits. They're going to have to count the supply kits and know how many people are doing it. So, but right at the top, they said it was 150 people they were serving. So the question would be, is that 150 per activity or 150 overall?
Well, and it's just calling out for salaries. That's not for supplies or anything.
So that second question I had, I agree, was whose salary are we paying here?
Right.
Because I'm not quite sure who the performance artists are. They may mention them somewhere by name.
Yeah.
So we have performer Tita Sturzio. Sorry, Struzziero. Sorry. So obviously anything that he's doing is salaried.
Right.
We can't pay people from the library.
Right.
And then the supplies themselves, it doesn't specifically say, it says the library will be purchasing materials and compiling the kits. So I guess we could probably pay for some supplies. But if you look at the actual costing, I think they said salaries.
Yeah, it only said salaries. Yeah, they didn't even factor in any of the supplies, like, because they're just, we're going to cover it. You know what I mean? Or
So
that's what it looks like. So
I'd be happy to pay Peter if that's what he's charging them. But I think we need to know a little bit more about what their cost basis is.
The other might be the cookie lady there. So there's two people.
That's right, but I didn't see her mentioned specifically, as in, being sure we're sort of paying her.
Right.
Specializes in decorating activity. If they say, well, yes, she's going to be coming online, recording, articles for her, us, and she's going to be spending hours of her time. I'm not so bad about having salaries for two people.
Right.
And then who's going to run the STEM kit one? Is that going to be the librarians, or is it going to bring in someone else to do that?
Yeah, we don't know that.
It looked to me like they're just going to get into the supplies and say, here's what you do to dissect. It said specifically designed for classroom use. So whose classroom are they going to use? Is this going to be a schools activity? If they had said, well, we're going to be
right, that was
schools.
the right, because they're going to do an owl pellet, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
And they're going to provide the information about how to identify the contents and, you know,
right.
so maybe this is going to be a schools project as well. But I just feel we need some more information, unless everyone else thinks that I'm not really pulling them apart. I mean, I'm not trying to not pay them, but I just want to know really what we're actually supporting.
Yeah, need a little bit more of a detailed breakdown and what that money actually goes to.
Yeah, and how many
Yeah.
people they're going to serve.
On
Now, the
here it says
library's asked for
150.
The library has asked for a lot of money in the past, relatively large amounts of money in the past, and we have given them relatively large amounts in the past. I don't know if I have a detail of how much they asked for last year.
Oh, they asked for, yeah, I remember they
As
asked
I
for a
said, I
good
think it was
amount
close
last
to the
year.
same amount. Yeah, maybe a little bit lower.
And we agreed to give them $910.
Yep.
And we have
It would be nice to have a little clarification.
we
I
have
mean,
supported them consistently over the last few
Yeah.
years. So, you know, and just if you know, I just want to make sure that we know what we're spending the money on. It's more to make sure we're quite transparent about what it is we're paying them for. If we give them a lot of money like that, we need to have a bit more background, I think.
agreed.
I'm just looking to see what we paid them in 2017, if anything. I can't remember if we had a library grant. The library grant in 2017 was $1,330. That's for an art project to be held on 3 different dates.
Yeah.
Birds reading performance and painting demonstration. So that was 2017. In 2018, we approved them for a grant for $1,200 to for, actually I don't have details of that. Sorry. I don't have details of how many activities that were involved.
I think
but
it was
anyway.
3. It feels like it's been 3.
I think in the past, I tried to encourage them to have 3 because
Yeah.
they were doing it individually. Remember, I said to them, it's better to have a program of cultural activities, then we don't have to try and you know fund all 3.
Right.
You can fund the program, and this is the way you can do it because you can't have more than one grant.
Right.
So they've been
Right.
taking full advantage of that suggestion for the last 4 years, and there's no reason why not.
Yep.
And but I just sort of feel that although they're not necessarily asking more than they have done in the past, I just like to have a bit more supporting detail.
Okay. I can
Agreed.
follow up.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Sorry, you got more than you bargained for this year.
Oh, no, that's okay. I think last year there was about 4 or so that I followed up with, so that's fine.
Okay, great. Well, you're going to have another one coming up for me next.
All right. So now we have the individual.
They lived in Grafton.
Mhm.
And this one I was just is this the one that we couldn't read any of the, like
Any of the links?
I couldn't get to anything. So
No.
it was
It
very,
seems to me to be a rather, when we said put it in word processing software and then copy and paste it, I don't think that's quite what we meant.
no. So my impression is that she's writing a book.
And she wants us to pay for it.
Yeah. So, if she was making a presentation on what she's written about, I think,
I
but
can't tell. But I can't get into any
without any of the information,
in principle, her publication is due to be it said at the beginning of this year. So she may be talking about presenting it.
yeah, we just have no way of knowing. Because
But rather
nothing,
than, I mean, she's asking for half the budget, basically.
yeah. Yeah.
But we can't read
So-
any other things.
So, yeah, so Sarah, if you reach out to her, explain to her that none of those, none
Links
of her
work.
answers came through to us.
Okay.
And that we have no idea truly what she's asking for.
Okay. Sure. I can follow up.
That's good. Because, I mean, right now I would just say no, because I have no idea what she's asking
But
for,
for the rest of the
but
funding-
it could be very legitimate.
Because the
So,
rest of the funding is provided by her family.
and what is it? I forget what it's paying for. It's paying for supplies and marketing. So I'm not sure what the supplies would be for, because we don't know what this is besides a book. So,
All right, no problem.
I
and
think in principle, you know, it could be interesting, but it's a difficult precedent to set if it is just for a book.
yeah. Yeah, I have issues with that. But again, you know, she was get like, remember there was that the historical society or whatever
This is
did a
so-
presentation where a woman was dressed up and, you know, some historical character, and you know, that makes sense. But
Yeah, it does. And we gave them grants 2 years running for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. all right. Oh, so this is the El Dia de los Muertos or something like that for Blackstone Valley.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Regional school.
I put down tech school, but actually it's vocational regional school. Now, they claim they have 69 students in Grafton.
Yeah,
Yeah, to say.
that's probably right.
Yeah.
And I mean, what, it's like 13 towns that they send their kids there.
Yeah.
So it sounds like though it's really just for the students that are there. Is that right?
Well, they give the impression they're going to try, they used to be, but they're trying to go outreach to families as well with Zoom and online stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah. But it is, yeah, but it was going to be during the school day, right?
Yeah.
My question about this was, how much were they? Oh, they were just requesting, they were requesting 500 from us.
You go down the additional income, they've got other fundings. Actually, what does that mean? Is that actually a funding source, description of funding source? Oh, sorry, a humanities budget, yeah. 1,000.
Right. Right. And then through grants, 1,000. And then they
So
were
that
just,
maybe, I didn't know whether that was meant included our grant or what it was.
I know, I was curious about that too. Did they say other cultural councils from other towns that they were going to be applying to?
I think it'd be further down, actually.
I can't
Yeah,
Douglas
remember.
Mendon.
Milford.
What was that? Oh yeah, here it is, Douglas, Mendon and Milford.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So my question is, if they're requesting 500 from us, are they requesting 500 for all of them? That would be $2,000, but that's not kind of showing up here. So I was,
I don't know how many other kids, how many towns they draw from. They just seem like an odd number, an odd selection, Douglas, Mendon and Milford.
Right.
it's a lot of towns that they,
So why us? Why 4 of us, you know? So how many kids, does anyone know how many students they have?
didn't it
It
say
says
here?
7 Grafton from grade 9 through 12.
Right.
Here
Is
it does.
it out of 1,000 kids, or, you know?
I think each class has like 300. So I want to say roughly 1,200 students maybe.
It's here it is. Blackstone Valley Tech serves 1232 students from
Okay.
13 member towns. It's a lot.
It just seems a bit odd they only asked 4 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they applied to other places and they put a different like schools for them too. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think it's a new idea, and I certainly think that it sounds like an interesting cultural opportunity. I wasn't quite sure how they're going to do it online, because it talks about making students, maybe the students at home be making the
Yeah.
food and things and serving them and having them themselves.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
at the moment, we can't really ask any questions about whether virtual is good, because we have to just go with what they can
Right.
do.
right. Well, I mean, just like, you know, any other school, you know, doing their own event, like what was it in North Street School? They had that guy who
It should
the
have
living history or different
Yeah.
things like that. That's how I have to count. That's how I'm counting this.
Yeah, no, sure, I
If we
agree.
could get clarification on the numbers, I guess.
Well, I don't know.
and-
I mean, so that, like, you mean the budget numbers?
Yeah,
rather
on the
than- yeah.
budget. Yes, on the budget numbers, just because, how much are they asking of the other towns, or I don't know. Yeah, if we could get more of a breakdown, I guess.
I
And
don't suppose-
especially this, because it sounds like it was in-house teachers who were
That's
working,
right.
didn't it?
And
There was
that
a
is-
Spanish teacher,
And that is against our local rules.
right? So that's I'd like to know. But I mean, other than that, I don't have a problem
Yeah, no,
supporting
sure.
it.
I mean, it's different. It's serving a different age range as well, so it's good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yep, it speaks to live streaming to a larger audience, for different towns. So it sounds like even though they would have the school, it would be available for anybody online,
which is nice.
which is nice. But I think we do need clarification as to what that money goes to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add that to my
And
list to follow up.
And here's the little,
No, it looks good.
yeah. It
And
does.
then the guy who talked to is this guy here, who's is Dr. Fitzpatrick.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep.
I
Right,
wasn't quite sure
so,
about the live stream bit. Does he mean live streaming it on YouTube or on?
who knows?
It doesn't specify. It's
Twitch.
in that first paragraph there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under summarize the proposed project. It's at that last sentence there. So they don't specify how.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting project and it's new. So generally
Yeah.
speaking, we would try and do that.
Yep.
Okay.
And now we have the Grafton Rec Department for
Which we
the
have-
concerts.
Which we
Right.
have consistently supported throughout every
Yeah.
year. Apart from 1 year they didn't remember to apply to us.
Yeah, that was just 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, but I mean that was an error on their part rather
Yeah,
than
yeah,
us
yeah.
refusing them. So we've always given them
Right.
a maximum because this is considered to be, Kevin, this is, I guess so you know, I'm just talking partly to you. This is considered to be one of the principal cultural activities in Grafton itself, open to all people. It's a concerts held on the green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't see any reason why we wouldn't support them as normal.
I'm full
They're saying
steam
6
ahead on this
concerts.
one.
They're saying 6 concerts.
Yeah, I'm curious if that'll be able to happen.
Right.
It would be nice if
Yeah.
it could.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
yeah, but I'm all in on this one. That's good.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, and this one's so cute.
It really is.
So this is the one I have a bit of a question on, again, Sarah, is they say that they want to work with the Grafton Seniors Centre. I just want to say to you, it's extremely unlikely that in February we're going to have anything going on at the Grafton Rec, let alone the Grafton Rec and the Senior Centre.
No,
Yeah.
that'll be closed. I just can't imagine. With the
So I
numbers right
sympathise
now.
with them wanting to do it. See, last year they applied for this grant. They had a specific elderly residential centre, and they were doing it there.
Mhm.
So it wasn't really speaking people from Grafton, but it was, a local residential home. This year they're saying they're going to do it at Grafton Senior Centre.
Yeah.
So we could
I
give them
know
the
for,
grant. We could give them the grant, but I just, and so we've got two choices. We can either say, here's a grant, just if you do it, we'll pay you. Or we could ask, or we could suggest they try and find alternatives, but you know.
For me, I would just say, yeah, my inclination would be to say, if you do it, we'll pay you.
Right.
Like, because that, you know, I don't know if they'll ever really be able to schedule that.
If they can do it
You
in
know.
Black History Month which is February 2022,
Yeah, it could
then
be
they would
a
still
year
be
from
paid for
now.
it.
A
They would
year
still
from
be paid
now.
for it.
Yeah. And how much were they requesting? $280.
280.
So God bless them if they can get it done.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be very good.
How I feel.
yeah,
I think it'll do it for people who are younger than seniors at the moment, are sitting at our desks all day.
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
my goodness, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm always on online yoga classes. They keep on offering, in various Eventbrite and things. So sending you these lists of, online yoga classes and things to do from your chair. Body and mind. Anyway, I think that I'm happy with that too. I think we should support them. We supported them last year.
Yep.
So that was
Yeah.
it, actually. I believe.
Mhm.
Yep. So that's
So we have
all
no,
there
at
is.
the moment, we have no outright denials, but we do have quite a number of follow-ups.
We do have
Yeah,
a number of
I have
questions.
6 here.
So
6
my
follow-up.
feeling is that we probably will have to arrange another meeting to discuss the follow-ups. Because when we've got one or two trivial things and we were going to give them a grant, I mean, it's up to you, Chair, to decide. But I sort of wonder if we maybe need to have another meeting to discuss the follow-ups because we've got so many of them and they're comparatively complex.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. So we were thinking of meeting, well, when do we have to have this kind of finalized?
I would like, so that you have to allow 2 weeks for the denial letters to go out. So my idea was if we could finalize it today, then we would send the rejection letters out. I would send the rejection letters out this weekend, give them 2 weeks and a bit to answer. And then when we met on the 15th, was it 15th of February?
Yeah.
I would have the response, they would have had the 2 weeks to allow them to respond to the denials.
Right.
So whatever we look at, if we deny them, we have to wait at least 2.5 weeks before we have the next meeting because we've got to allow them time to respond to us.
Right.
So I hate to suggest another meeting because I think quite honestly, it seems it's quite a lot of work on everyone's part to try and organize the meeting. But I just think given the number of questions we have, that really we need to get the feedback and then discuss it again.
Yeah. So when would be a reasonable time to try to meet the?
Well, to get the agenda publicized, we'd have to really arrange it for the end of next week.
But I'm trying to think if we'll reasonably have
The answers
by then.
Right.
So I think it'll be the week of the 25th that we should.
Well, if we can arrange a date in the week of the 25th now, and we can post the agenda in advance, then then that's probably the best thing to do then.
Yep.
I can't make Tuesday because I'm teaching that day, or Wednesday. But I can make any other day that week, or even that week.
Wait, you couldn't do Tuesday or when?
Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah.
That leaves the 25th, 28th, and 29th.
Yeah.
Any of those days are fine with me if it's preferred end of the week instead of the Monday, but I mean, any of those days will work depending on the majority for me.
Yeah, those 3 days are fine for myself.
Same here.
Well, I probably prefer to go for the Monday if we can, because of getting.
It's getting close. Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
let's do Monday.
And could Kevin make the 25th?
What day? January 25th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monday
Is-
night? Okay,
Monday night?
Eh.
Possibly. I have I gotta call Goretti's because I might be getting hired there on Monday, but if it's, I guess it depends on the time.
Well, it would normally be 6 o'clock, Kevin. But congratulations getting a chance there. Sounds good.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Thanks. Well, hopefully I'll get it. I've been waiting for like a month now to hear the response. I'm hoping I'm gonna
Oh,
get
boy.
it, yeah, I suppose I can do it. It should be fine by 6 p.m.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, Kevin. And Kevin will be a full member by then because he'll be
yes.
approved by the town of Grafton on the 19th. So
And Stacy, could you also do that?
I might be a little late. I have to drop my daughter off at CCD at 6.
Okay,
Just a couple minutes late.
well, I can make it a bit later than that because it'll be a short meeting. If anyone wants to do 6:30 instead.
I can do
Fine.
6:30.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right, so we'll do 6:30 on Monday, the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And it will, yeah, hopefully it'll be a quick.
So the agenda, can we just run through so we all agree the ones we're going to have a question mark against?
Yes.
The marquee, the first one,
Yep. I had the Elijah Grasshopper,
right?
the duo pianists,
Right,
the chainsaws and cheeseburgers.
right,
Let's see, the Star Wars Symposium at the library,
right.
the immigration and industry,
Helen, yeah,
and then the Day of the Dead. So I have 6.
Blackstone Valley, yep.
Okay. And all the rest we're going to basically go ahead and approve. We need to discuss obviously the amounts again, but we'll do that at the next voting meeting.
Okay.
Or the voting meeting in February. So if we push it out by to then, can we possibly think of dates for February? You know,
Yes.
maybe as we're all here. Any thoughts on that? So if we get the meeting on 25th, then I need to get the letters out. If they send letters out, will be on Wednesday, and then we give them 2 weeks from that. I can't do the math in my head, Julie. But
So that's the 10th, the 2 weeks from the 27th is the 10th of February.
okay, So-
And that's a Wednesday.
so we could still make the 15th, which is a Friday, if we wanted to.
It's the following Monday is the February 15th.
Right.
Monday,
President's
okay.
Day.
So
The
so at
10th
the
is a
moment-
Wednesday, 11th is the Thursday, 12th is the Friday of February.
What did I say on my agenda?
Oh, hold on, I have it printed out. Follow-up meeting for February 12th, 2021.
Mhm.
So that's the Friday.
Okay, if we make it the following Monday to give us a couple more days.
That would be the 15th.
I got a lecture. I got to give a lecture at 6:30. That's the problem with that date, isn't it? I know the problem with that. So we could make the 12th if we're lucky. Did we work that out that the 12th was possible, Julie? Was it cutting it too fine?
Well, it's 2 weeks and 2 days, for the rejection letters.
Well, let's keep it 12 for the moment. I mean, we could. The other thing is to go to the end of the following week because I can't do Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday that week.
So, right, so it could be the 18th or 19th of February.
Yeah. Anyone got any thoughts on that?
I think that might be February vacation. I'm not going anywhere, but
Mhm.
I think that's February vacation, just to let everyone know.
I remember that. I think the 18th. No, is it the 18th is a holiday anyway?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
The 18th is, the 15th is Monday. The 18th is Thursday.
Okay. In that case,
Do I have the right year? Because I'm having all the days. No. No, I have it. It's 2021.
Okay, where are we? Yes. Sorry, my cat just closed my file.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, okay. So we could still keep in the timelines if we did it at the end of that week of the 15th.
So we'll do Thursday, the 18th, we could plan on.
Is it suit everyone?
That works for me.
I just want to get it lined up now for the town if I can, because otherwise they fill up sometimes without.
So we're
But if
saying,
it's not the 18th, we'll do the 19th.
And we were gonna do 6 o'clock at that night, or we could do
I'll
6:30.
book it for 6, and maybe if Kevin, for example, can make 6:30, that then we should make it later.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Because it will, as I said, that will be a voting meeting to make a final decision on the grants. There shouldn't be that much business for that,
Right.
because we basically have discussed the majority of the business today. So I sort of feel that we're probably going to be a fairly short meeting. So maybe we can make it 6:30 then, and make it 6:30 to be consistent.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do both at 6:30. Is that good with
Yeah,
everyone?
I think that makes sense. And then if Kevin can't come until 7, we can think about adjusting it again at some other stage. But he'll know more about it once he hears back, of course, Kevin, won't you? So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should be able to make it anyway. 6:30.
Okay.
It sounds good.
sounds great. Okay, good.
Very good. So we have 6:30 Monday, the 25th of January, and 6:30
Thursday, the
the
18th.
18th of February, which is a Thursday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sarah, I appreciate you reaching out to all those people.
No
Yes.
problem.
I think it sounds like you'll have enough time to do it,
Yeah,
hear back.
I think it'll be a good amount of time. Yep. And I
Yeah.
can start communications tomorrow too, so that I at least get that initial, messages out there and see who can get back to us. But I think that gives them enough time too.
So the
Yeah.
only thing I would say to you, if you have, Judy, do you think, is it okay if Sarah tells us what she found out so far, in case if she has any follow-up questions she wants to ask us? Can we do that by email? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Because
That's
otherwise
okay.
we'll go to the meeting and then you'll have more questions, Sarah, and
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'll do that. I'll make sure that as I get information, I can share it, or if there's additional questions that I can.
So no one
get
should
to
actually
everyone.
comment on the information. So we don't want to say things like, okay, that looks fine, or we're going to
Right.
Right. But if there's
Right.
additional questions, yeah.
But just so you
Right.
know that information is there, and we can do the additional questions bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay, great.
Good.
So I haven't factored in asking the town anything, Julie, but we'll play it by ear for the moment.
Okay. Well, that was good. I guess I'll call it. I can't even see what time it is. My screen is
It's 7:32.
7:32. We'll adjourn, or actually, do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right, do I hear a second?
A second.
Thank you. Oh, now I have to do a roll call. I'll just say, all those in favor.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Do I hear
Aye.
anyone opposed? I do not. It is passed. So we'll see you all on the 25th.